Welcome. Greetings. This is Outlandish with Boone. I am Boone. This is brought to you guys by Outlandish Entertainment. I just want to start off by telling you a goal I have for myself in this moment. Goal that I have for myself in this moment is to act with more consistency. There's so many different great things that I do, but unfortunately, I feel like one of my obstacles is that the great things that I display at a variety of times don't coincide with some of the other great things that I do. So my hope is that some of the things that work for me in certain instances, I'm able to bring everything together and just act with more consistency. Now, in reference to this podcast, Outlandish with Boone, my goal, you know, uh, something that I hope to be more consistent about is bringing you guys an episode at least once a day or at minimum 3 times a week. So, not only do I have some goals in my personal life, but a goal I have for this podcast is, as I mentioned, consistency. And whatever that means for you guys, I wish you well. Uh, some outlandish shit's been going on. You look outside, I don't even have to embellish things because ultimately it's right here in front of us all. So, you're like me, you're like, oh my God, it is that motherfucking gas? $4.59. For some of y'all, it's more than that. I almost cried when I went to the pump. I almost took some shit back. I almost canceled some pickup orders. You got to get real strategic in this environment because not only do we have a government that's shown itself that it doesn't care for us, it doesn't care about us, it's not acting in accordance to what's best for us, but these corporations, which, for, many, many, many eons acted with a certain power that, them to the politicians, we fed in y'all pocket. We allow y'all to, advertise. You guys need to act, with our will in mind, and now these corporations are cowering to the government while also, you know, using very shrewd tactics on us, and not only shrewd tactics, but just like blatantly in our face and utilizing some real unfortunate tactics to, get us to accept it. So it's like, yeah, this podcast should be easy because there's just so much outlandish, and I love to talk. So I'm bringing you guys some tidbits today. My hope, my goal is that when you guys fully get through this podcast, this particular episode, that that I've given you guys some tactics to actively save money. It's not about to be, one of those, this is the goal, get you all the way to the precipice of giving you the information and then hit you with that, but I'm gonna bring it to you episode 2. Nah, y'all. I'm coming with some information that if you guys utilize it in a way that I've utilized this particular tactic, that it not only saves you money, probably save you some money right now, but like it's a tactic that you guys use moving forward, because really when you have a government and corporations, you know coinciding with some real inflationary times, utilizing some tactics that just obviously are not, at all aimed at bettering the American people, you guys, us, me. Corporations out here talking about, we're utilizing these true tactics because we just got to get the, more results for our shareholders. Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like justifiable because really, we're just acting in accordance with what's best for our constituents. Motherfucker, I'm them. I'm your shareholders. I'm also the purchaser of your products. So stop that bullshit. Stop that BS. Now, YouTube, forgive me for that profanity. Right now, this podcast is only being brought to you guys in a visual format, but as I expand and as I get more consistent, I will be incorporating the audio component just so I'm not relying upon one platform. My goal for this is, something greater than currently my environment as well as technology supports, but as my dream in this vision, as it's conceived in my mental, I hope to materialize that not only in real time, but as I go forward with this consistency, and as y'all keep watching, you like, did his environment just change from a place with one bathroom to like, 1.5? And then yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Because I'm a single father and I have a daughter and I also have a fiance. And we are blessed. We're blessed. But as we are blessed, things have gotten more challenging because prices have risen in a way that where we are making, and probably you guys as well, making the most we've ever made, but struggling in a way that we had never struggled. And we're still living in the same place. We're blessed to be here. My daughter's been blessed to be in a consistent school district. And, this is lovely, but how much has gone on that's out of my control to make my environment change in a way that's noticeable, and that's honestly how gas prices you know have affected me, and I imagine for you guys as well. I drive a Hyundai 4-cylinder 4-door, baby. No rims. We talking about efficiency. This thing not only efficient, but it's light. And I ain't doing nothing extra to have it weigh more. So when I go to fill up my 4-cylinder Hyundai, it's $57.65 to fill it up. Now, let's talk about what it costs for that Telluride, that Hyundai Telluride, that sister product that is quite inefficient. Sorry, quite inefficient. That's probably about 125 to fill up. I know people that religiously won't put more than $25 at a time in gas in their car. These motherfuckers are camping out at the gas station because they won't adjust their tactics, because those tactics for a vast amount of time work for them. But as our president's playing in the sandbox, things done changed here for us. So I came to my senses and said, yes, I'm about to bring these fine individuals who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, the individuals that enjoy my Outlandish with Boone segments. I'm about to bring these individuals a tactic that just saved me some money a week and a half ago. These stores, the Targets, the Walmarts, Amazon, these corporations utilize tactics, that they're very upfront about. They also have to act in accordance with many state and local government policies. So for me, I shop at Kith. For an example, I can't return Kith in Minnesota, but if I live in California and I buy Kith, I have a certain return policy. As long as these corporations are going to act nefarious, and utilize these nefarious ass tactics, we also got to act, upon the return policies and the price match policies that these corporations offer us. These individuals have a very easy system in place to truly utilize the tactic that I'm about to hit y'all with some fine examples. For example, Target 90-day return policy. They also have a price match policy. Nike 60-day return policy. I've bought so many shoes. I have so many passions, and for a very long time, shoes, it was a huge passion of mine. So ultimately, as I have accumulated many, many shoes over a very large span of time, I started to realize that if I buy something today and I pay full price for that, if they offer a certain, return policy, and that item should change in price, all I gotta do is holler. All I gotta do is holler at you. Call me back. You feel me? I called them back. And Nike on the phone. I was like, yo, deep voice, suave. Probably never gonna see him. But I hit him with the suave voice. And I called him and I was like, yo, before we proceed, go ahead and pull up my profile. Gave him my information. Told him my name is Daniel. It's Outlandish with Boom, baby. I'm Daniel. Gave him my information. He said, Daniel, how can I help you? Very, very courteous. I'm not only about to take y'all to the cleaners, homie, but you doing it in a way that's palatable. You're being nice to me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, homie. But ultimately, let me get to the meat and potatoes for y'all. You know, we live in a society that right now, the president of the United States, in my opinion, is acting in a very blatant way that is disenfranchising the American people. And I know many people that are part of his base, and they're baffled. And I'm not even laughing at them because ultimately we are the American people. So it don't matter if you red or blue. We won. We're supposed to be at least. We're being affected evenly. Unfortunately, he's coming out here with policies that are, reckless and hurting such a wide variety of individuals that these policies just can't account for, hurting me and not hurting, his base in particular. So it's like we're all affected out here, no matter what side we're on, no matter if we're, Crips or Bloods, Democrats or Republicans, we're ultimately being disenfranchised in a very similar manner. And I asked myself, why? Why would a person, such as Donald Trump, that you would imagine would be appreciative? Because he got kicked the fuck out the White House. 2020, 2020, we was like, yo, son, you gotta go. You ain't gotta go home, but you showed enough can't stay the fuck here. And we threw that motherfucker out like we was Uncle Phil and he was Jeffrey, yo. But he campaigned for 4 years. He ultimately, got in the good graces of a vast majority of people, or he figured out a way to, possibly hypothetically, figure out a way to, with Elon's help, jerry rig these machines. But I think ultimately he emboldened such a large number of people that they went out and voted him in, thinking that he would be appreciative in a way that would at least act in accordance with his base. And I start to ask myself, why? Why is he not taking care of y'all? I get why he don't like me. I ain't vote for him. I ain't vote for him ever. I ain't vote for him in 2016. I ain't vote for him in 2020. I ain't vote for him in 2024, yo. I'm not voting for him in 2028. I think he's entertaining, though. And at some point, we got to put the funny games away, and entertainment can't be all the time. And Mr. President, I feel like you truly got a vendetta against the American people. And I was like, yo, but don't you like some of us? A portion? I get that not you, but get that people, love their wives and still hit them. And that's unfortunate as F, because I'm a father to a little girl. That's not cool. But, in many instances, they rolling with the mindset that that person's gonna stay, and I feel like he feels us American people that we ain't gonna rise the fuck up, and really, all we can really do is, in many instances, is rise the fuck up and go to work. So, back to where I'm coming from, he out here acting in a way that's getting us all, and I think it's by design. I think he has a vendetta against us all. And I think that's why he's out here acting like, exactly what he's saying in his most recent message, where he doubled down was, I don't care about the American people. My priority is the Middle East. So he playing in the sandbox. Corporations out here acting reckless, not realizing that you can only take from America so much before this isn't a fertile garden that y'all can operate in. If you break us and if you allow us to fall, who gonna buy y'all shit? Nike. If America fall, who gonna buy y'all shit? We gonna have to buy like Skechers or something. You feel me? We ain't gonna be able to afford y'all shit. So I need y'all to come to y'all motherfucking senses and realize that if y'all don't reinvest in America, America can't keep reinvesting in y'all. If y'all don't do for us in a way that's palatable, then how are we going to in turn redistribute that money to y'all? So they're not gonna get right, y'all. So we gotta get them right. We gotta check their mentality. We gotta hit them where it hurts. We gotta burn that money like we Joker, baby. Heath Ledger, ho. Got that whole little pile. We got a little flame and lighter and shit, So without actually, physically doing that, how can we at least say to them, guys, until you come to y'all senses, we're going to utilize these tactics in a way that not only work for us, but relay a message directly to y'all that y'all need to do better. So, guys, once again, I'm gonna give it to you all in this episode. Examples, the tactic. I'm gonna lay it all out. So it was actually February 3rd, 2024. I'm going way back, y'all. Examples though. February 3rd, 2024. I bought a pair of Nikes. They were the Jordan 3 Retro Craft Ivories. Paid $210 for these. February 3rd, 2024. Paid $210 for them. Nike has a 60-day return policy. I think that's, across the United States, and it may vary from place to place, but I don't think at minimum it's anything less than 60, because Nike, I feel like they shrewd, but they pretty straightforward. They're like, hey, this is what it is. So 60-day return policy. 45 days after I bought these $210 shoes, which, believe me, my fiance was not happy when I brought home yet another pair of Jordan 3s. She said, at least be creative. I said, they all different, though. They all different. You see how they got the different designs? I had to get them, them crafts, baby, them crafts, $210. So, 45 days later, they didn't sell out. Maybe people weren't feeling them as much as I was. Maybe people at the time just couldn't afford that product in a way that they anticipated. So 45 days later, they reduced that price, that shoe, that item, by 25%. It was on my favorites list. Naturally, as I was shopping for more shoes, I saw that it got reduced. I couldn't help but notice. Light bulb went off. Frankly, I be looking for the price to go down because I'm about my dollars. Don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I like money because I like spending it. And I don't do things that's nefarious to get more money. I work every day and I only make so much money. And things are going up, inflationary times, and people acting that's not in accordance to my best interest. Got gas out here that's $4.59. Y'all, I used to be able to take $35, and fill up that whole tank. Man, I could go around the block twice and not even care about it. I don't even let that shit run no more. You turn it off every light. I'm a mama now. Y'all better turn off them lights. Why don't you use your flashlight? We just put that in the sun. The sun just get that battery back right. You feel me? She said, Daddy. I said, okay, I'm just playing. Just turn your light off when you're done using it, if you would. If you would, please, because the electric company, these motherfuckers then went up again, girl. We paid them. We can go to the cap agency, which that's an option for y'all. If y'all don't know about a cap agency in your area, may potentially help you in your household with the energy bill, but we ain't talking about that. We're talking about how do you directly get money back from the corporations who are not realizing that their return policy is 100% indicative to 100%, gives us the power to get money back. So ultimately I called Nike. I was like, yo, it's 25% less. Why don't y'all go ahead? And I still ain't warm yet, so you just want me to go back to the store? I don't even approach that conversation like that anymore. I call them now and I'm like, hey, pull up my profile. This is my information. This is my phone number. It's connected to my Nike profile, which is free. They pull up everything. They're like, okay, how can we help you? I go to the item. I give them the order number. Many instances, you just have to give them the last 4 digits because you're dealing with a Nike customer service agent and they can see everything in real time just as you are. So he was like, okay, is there something wrong with it? I'm like, no, I just see that the prices changed and it's within the return policy, and I don't want to return them just to get the price, the money back, and they're out sold out on my size, so out sold out on my size, so I got scared, got nervous, probably why I stuttered there, but he's talking to me. This is the customer service agent guy, at Nike, and very nice. Once again, I don't even have to prove to him that I'm deserving of a refund because he understands the return policy just like I understand the return policy. He understands their price match policy just as I understand their price match policy. If I go to the, store and I say, "Hey, I want to return this because it's cheaper over here at y'all people," they're like, okay." They give me my money back. It's on the debit card, so it's gonna take the time to get back on my return back on my card. I'm doing myself a disservice and I'm doing them a disservice. I'm using gas and it's $4.59 where I live. And if I hear correctly, in New York, it's like $7 to $9. And in California, it's like $13 a gallon. Like, fuck, you feel me? So it's like, I don't even have to prove my case. They understand that return policy because it's their job as customer service agents to ultimately be customer servicey and help the people that, on the surface, sorry, help people that shop and frequent their store. So ultimately, he's like, "Yeah, man, we can definitely get that refunded for you. Doesn't matter if I have or haven't worn the shoes, guys. I'm not actually going back to the store to return anything. I don't care that you ain't that salami that's in the fridge. You have a certain return policy benefiting you if that price should change. Many instances that price does change. And they do that anticipating that many instances people will not realize the power they have. Guys, if every time you buy something, you are aware of that item's return policy and also shop that item often enough that you can see the price change, why would you not call and get a refund? Now, maybe you're like, "I don't want the 32 cents for the salami." All right, y'all, cool. But those Nikes I bought, those Jordan 3 Craft Ivory, $210 and 25%. That's a lot of money. That price was reduced from $210. Now, that's the kicker, y'all. Down to $157 and I think 36 cents. That was back on my card the next day. In certain instances, it takes 2 days, but I'm not hurting for money. I like to spend it and I like working. I like to be employed, and it's a blessing to have quality employment. It's a pleasure to be able to go to work and do things that I feel is amazing, that I feel is beneficial, and get paid for many years has been a very livable wage, not only in my environment, but this country as well. But as policies and true tactics are being enacted by people that supposed to have America's best interests at heart, it's now affecting us in a way that's truly just disenfranchising, and it's not much we can control. We can go out and vote. I encourage everyone, hit the midterms hard. Hopefully they don't rig it in a way that our voice and basic vote doesn't count. And if you're black and in the South, they just hit us where it hurts. I live in Minnesota and I'm a little bit more blessed, but should the right people come here, they can utilize those same shrewd tactics to change, in my opinion, the actual value, of my vote. So not only do we have the electoral college, but in many areas and provinces, in my opinion, they've just diluted the voting power in a way that if you look a certain way, you probably won't have people who look like you, or people in your province or area that have to at least cross the street and see you. So of course, if you have to cross the street and possibly see me, you're gonna maybe not just play in my face. But if you are, a senator of now a very large area, and you are stationed very far from my area, you're probably never gonna see me. You're probably never gonna have to look me in my eye, and you're definitely probably not gonna have to worry about my mouth. Because if you do me dirty, Lord knows I can go from 0 to 100 in just a little bit of time, whatever that quote is. But ultimately, back on track, y'all. If you buy something big, and if it's only with the big things, fine. But if you buy something big, that item's gonna go on sale at some point. These corporations have a certain surplus, they have a certain stockpile, and from week to week they adjust these items price to truly benefit their sales in a way that not only are they getting out what they have more of, they're getting us to they're doing it with a tactic that It's truly just like chess to checkers, you know? So ultimately, call them if you have a profile. I got a Target account, I got a Walmart account, I got a Nike account, them free accounts. Call them, get them customer service agents on the phone, let them know how you feel. So them Nikes, 210, switch it down to $157.36. It was February 5th, 2025. I'm bought some Jordan 3s, retros, Pure Monies. They cost $205. I can't remember the exact time frame, but once again, Nike got a 60-day return policy, and those went from the $205 down to 160 even. That was $45 back in my card, and in many instances is less than a day. I was able to put that money back towards my next purchase. And for some of y'all, and for me, I've been broke. I've had zero in my account. So imagine if you have $0 in your account and you do not get paid until Friday. It's Tuesday, and you can look back at the last 60 to 90 days of all of your purchases and cross-reference that with the current sale price. And all you have to do is call them and say, hey, this is what it is. And they gonna be like, you know what? That's exactly what it is. And then they're gonna do a price adjustment, and that lesser price, that money's gonna go back on your card. So I'll give you guys some recent examples because I don't play with just Nike. I'm about that business. I got many vices, and that's not drugs, baby. That's some shit that got a receipt. You know, so I buy me some Legos. I love me some motherfucking Legos. Ooh, I'm not a wolf, y'all, but I love me some Legos as much as I love me some shoes. I bought recently the Miles Morales Lego set, originally $46.99, and I was reinvigorated by Legos because my lovely fiance bought me the Star Trek Lego, and just reignited just something from my childhood. And I was like, you know what? I haven't been buying shoes. I've been saving. I got a good job buying some Legos. So this Miles Morales Lego, $46.99. I bought that April 18th. I have a return date for that July 18th at the very latest. I also bought February, I think 13th or February something. No, it's February 18th. I also bought the Dune Lego. Now I actually have the Dune Lego unopened. I could technically take that back to I could have technically taken that back to the store within its actual return date and gotten some money back because I paid 100. Let me get back to the Miles Morales, but I paid $46.99 for the Miles Morales Lego set. It was on sale at this point in time for $38.93. I also paid $144.99 for this Dune Lego set. Dune 3 is coming out. I can't wait. And at some point, I will be putting together the Dune Lego set. I've already put together the Miles Morales set. I can't technically take that back to the store, but this tactic, if you choose to utilize it, will ensure that all you have to do is be aware of the current price and have the gumption to call and talk to someone. I called him, and in that very moment I was also shopping at Target. I was already on the app. I got the dude on my earbud and I'm doing this all from my phone. And I gave him my information because I know who I called. It's not like they called me. I called them. I know I called the Target people, and best believe if they're in their system, they can probably see a lot of information. And obviously, they're only pulling up your file if you ask them. But that person's probably somewhere not here. I mean, Singapore's lovely, but they not your neighbor, yo. They not telling you business. They can't tell nobody that knows you from the church, whatever organization you associated with. So stop with that prior shit. You know, as you are doing something you probably often do, and this isn't an order, but just a recommendation, you know, save yourself some money. Truly, you know, check this out because I start telling my coworkers this tactic, and I start realizing more and more that people are not aware that this is something they can do. Now, maybe you just live in a way that you don't have a need. But these corporations, guys, I feel like if we don't put the shoe back on their back and just at all change the power dynamic, they're not going to get the message and start acting in accordance to what's best for us. Why would you have a weekly price adjustment if all you cared about was what's best for your constituents? They care about them, and they will continue to utilize their tactics. And there's many tactics, out there. And if you have a method that allows you to save money actively that you can see, hit that in my comment. Hit me with it, because I love a coupon. I will search for coupon code. I always be like this, and I'll put this name of a show, in the code section, because honestly, guys, there's so many codes out there. This is a way to get 10% off, 20% off, and all you have to do is act on it. So back to this actual scenario. I called the target guy. I'm talking to him. He pulls everything up. I give him the last four digits of my order number, and he's seeing in real time. And ultimately, it wasn't much, but I was refunded $22. I got that money back on two separate cards. Seven something on my Cash App card. It was also I think it was like 13, $14. It's like actually $14 back to my main debit card. And I have money in a few different places. Can't have everything all in one basket. Certain things freeze, and I don't like to have to ask for, people for help. I at least want to attempt to figure it out on my own first. And if I'm unable to, I'm blessed with, support system that maybe they won't help me, but I at least have a great success ratio, probably because I don't always ask for help, and I try to figure it out on my own. And my situation is not everyone else's. And I know I've had no money in my account, and I know things have gotten tougher. And I'm not judging anyone. But if you have $0 in your account and you don't at least look at your last purchases from the last 60, last 90 days, depending on where you frequent, then you're just gonna be waiting until payday, and hopefully you have a payday. And as DEI programs have rolled back, if you're African American woman, you guys have been targeted. There's been so many people affected. If you're a federal worker and you were X amount of time from retirement, and you were one of those unfortunate individuals that got let go. My heart goes out to you guys. I know there's so many people affected. If you're one of those, Spirit employees that just out of nowhere, didn't have medical coverage and didn't have, a check coming in, and part of their lawsuit, trying to get that, 60 days worth of pay because certain laws in this country, and they're probably going to win. It's going to take some time, but like, if you're going through an adversity right now, all you got to do is see if something you've bought, recently or in the last 60 to 90 days has gone on sale, change price. If this isn't a tactic that you want to use every day, just, like me, you shop at a lot of the same places, and you're very aware of, you know, when the price changes. I mean, for many of us, it's like, you dirty motherfucker. You know I just bought that a week and a half ago. You you asked me to pay the full motherfucking price. And you gonna give it to these motherfuckers over here for a lesser amount? Now, forgive me for all that profanity, but I said in a way that, at least connect, in many instances, our reaction to visually seeing that, and in many instances, we just take it and just like, dang, well, I hope I get the dealer next time. And nah, y'all. Nah, dog. You gotta do is call them back. And just get them on the phone and be like, you bought this. Give them that order code. You don't gotta have your receipt. All you gotta do is pull up the information on your card. I bought it. If you don't have an account with Target, it makes it a little longer of a conversation, but no difference. All you gotta do is validate, when you bought it. There's ways that they actually can pull up the purchase based on certain information from your card. I mean, you called them, they got that in their system. You swipe your card with them, For the most part, these systems are very protected. So I don't have the problem, giving a certain company that I call the necessary information to at least identify when I purchase something. So if it's not a place you have have an account with, don't fret. There's options for you. If it's a big enough purchase and that percentage that is off, that price is adjusted significantly enough that it's advantageous, get your money back. With that said, it's outlandish with Boom. And I truly hope that tactic works for you. Something that's really truly worked for me. That said, you're gonna see me again. You ain't gotta take my word for it. Peace.